Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch.
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Christy Derry.
And I'm Kevin King. We are talking with Samantha Harris from the Michigan Paranormal Research Association and Rhonda Groves Young from Stir the Imagination about the paranormal.
So I was just wondering during break, what do you say to skeptics, people who are just like, that doesn't exist, that never happened, you're making it up?
I think there's a couple different things. There's people that are just disbelievers. They already have their mind made up, and then there's skeptics, which means, in my opinion, if you present them with reasonable, solid evidence, that they may change their opinion. But I respect skeptics, and I respect people that just don't believe in it, and I understand that completely. Because, unless you're going to look for these things and you actually put in the research and stuff, how are you supposed to experience this or believe in it? So I respect them,
I have such a funny story about my husband is a huge non-believer. He doesn't, he is a devout Christian, and I honor that for him. But we were living in a house a few years ago where we had a lot of activity on the staircase between the first floor and the second floor. And I felt it and saw it all the time. And one day we were sitting in the living room on the sofa watching television, and the whole house was dark. And we were facing the staircase. And the television was in this corner, so we're watching television like this, and all of a sudden I see him go, like that. And I looked up at him and I said, "You saw them, didn't you?" He said, "No."
Denial.
Not see what, or what are you talking about, but just no.
He knew what you were talking about.
So yeah, it was hilarious.
Now, you guys, you get recordings, you've got pictures, you've got all of this evidence now, and it's taken in a scientific manner. But what about, there's always like the paranormal movies. There's all of these effects that you can do with Hollywood. So how can you tell the difference between something that is faked and something that is genuine?
I think you have to really have a background in like photography or with film and stuff like that, and you can tell like, oh, is this CGI or something like that, or some sort of special effect. But a lot of the times in the evidence that we capture, it's something that I've recorded, and so like I know myself, I'm not lying to myself. Like I'm going to create something goofy and try to fool the world. I really have no motive in the stuff that I do.
You'll get caught.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think that most paranormal investigators should have like the highest of integrity, to not spoil the rest of the stuff for the rest of us. But yeah, how do you tell the difference? I try to look at to see if there's like a photo, if there's like a lens flare, is it a double exposure, things like that. So
my attitude is, if you're lying, you're frying. So like it doesn't matter to me if somebody tries to fake something. I know what I've seen. I know what I've captured. I know what I've experienced myself. And you're going to deal with problems with people and ethics no matter what.
Right.
Now,
no matter where you go. So
on the same topic, we had a student here at Madonna was out on a shoot at the Holly Hotel, and everything was silent. They were quiet on set, and they, everything was, and the audio guy just freaked out. And we actually have that recording from that day. I'd like to have a listen.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
that's
let me
crazy.
just to go back, when you said that you go into a home and do a blessing, so I'm just curious, like, how much of this is proactive versus reactive? So if I said, hey, I want you to come to my house and before anything jumps off and bless the house, do you do that, or are you more reactive in everything with things?
I try to be scientific about it and really do a background check, like is there a psychological issue going on with the family? But I also give clients a lot of the time a benefit of the doubt because they really don't have a motive to make this stuff up, and sometimes they'll send you evidence too that they've captured. So I try to really be logical about that, and there are times where they're just like, look, look, I don't even want you to do an investigation, just come and do a house blessing. And from what I've known and from my experiences, there's no harm done in that. So you might as well, cover your bases and just do a house blessing. So that's what I usually do, but I like to talk first.
And have they ever just decided to move? Like, hey,
Yeah, but it's followed them. I had a family, several families where they had to be, I know, don't give up, right? Yeah, but there's been hauntings that have lasted like 10 years and they've moved to like 4 or 5 different home residences and stuff like that. Now, with the severe cases, that's more common where they follow you, but there are some times where like normal human spirit hauntings where they do decide that they may like you or something, I know, and they may want to go home with you or something and just follow you. So some people are comfortable with it, other people would like to, move beyond that and get a fresh start. So that's why a house blessing is really good to do before you move or when you move into a new place. So,
in my capacity as a reverend, that's usually the kind of call I get. We're moving into a new house, we're starting a new business.
Right.
We would just like, we would like it spiritually blessed or cleansed, and so we'll take the sage in to do the cleansing, and then we'll take either cedar or sweetgrass in to do the blessing. And I make blessing cords for houses and for people for weddings and babies and things.
So, like, what do you wear? Like, could I just do it myself? Like, you give me this potions and I go through and do it myself. Like, what do you wear?
Jeans.
Like what we're wearing today. Like, I'll just show. I mean, I don't show up in like sweatpants. Like, I'm here to cleanse your house. And people are like, who is this person? Like, get out. I don't trust you. I mean, you're trying to present yourself, but anyone can do it. At least that's what I've come to learn is that even despite all the different cultures and religions, what the most beautiful thing I think and most inspiring thing is that anybody can do it. And in a lot of the cases I get where people have been turned down from receiving help from other churches and things like that, and so I try to teach clients how to do it themselves, and if they're unable to remove it themselves, then usually I'll come in and help, and if it's more severe like that.
Now, for people who are maybe on the edge of being a skeptic and they're like, this sounds really intriguing, I would like to have an experience myself, what kind of advice would you give them to go and search it out or find some place that is haunted?
The simplest things. People think they need like night vision cameras and all that. But truthfully, your own body is one of the best detectors. Yes. You'll feel chills go up your spine, or you'll feel your hair stand on end, or you'll hear something. The most recent thing I had happen to me was my father passed 2 Octobers ago, and I was driving on my way to my mom's, and he was a coffee drinker. He could slam back 2 pots of coffee, and like that. And I'm driving in the truck, and all of a sudden the cab of the truck is filled with the aroma of coffee, and I just said, "Hi, Dad." Dad. I felt like Dad was with me in the cab. So really, your own body is one of the first things. You're going to sense something, and then if you have a digital camera or a digital voice recorder, just set it out. Just take some pictures. It's not as hard as people make it out to be.
Do you want to bring that in? You want to bring that into your life?
You can take it home with you. Thank you guys so much for being on our show today.
It was
I hope
great
it
fun.
opens some minds, and just do whatever you believe in.
Wouldn't scare off too many people.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Thank you so much for joining us on Celebrate Michigan, where we celebrate together.
We'll see you next time.